Hi all, this is my top 10 aquatic pets. This is in no way a definitive recommendation, it's just the pets I use on a regular basis for working out strategies. I'll include breed recommendations where available. At number 10 we have otters and mongooses. These are quite handy to have, especially if you can get a speed version. This mongoose is from the Tanlong Steppes, so you want to look for this one. It's got a speed of 374, so will outpace most things apart from flying. And as we will be going faster, our gnaw will hit 2 times. We also got screech, so if you get a one that isn't quite as fast, you can use screech to slow it down and then use gnaw. We've also got surge if you really want to go first. The only other breed I would recommend would be a balanced one for the extra power and health. This one is from the Valley of the Four Winds, but there's all kinds of different ones. But I'd recommend just a balanced one and then a speed one. At number 9 we have our jellyfish. The plump jelly is probably the easiest one to get, as you can buy it with 50 tokens from Dalaran. The bleak water jelly comes from a drop from a soul thirster in Helheim. I believe that was a quest. And finally, the sewer pipe jelly comes from collecting eyes in the Dalaran sewers. This one's probably quite easy to get now, but at the time was a bit of a pain. If you just want to pick one, just go with the plump jelly, it's the easiest to get. At number 8 is a puddle turret. Now I haven't used this one that much in Battle for Azeroth, but in previous expansions for the Family Fighter and Family Familiar, I used this one quite a lot. It works quite well against flying pets, as you can use Nature's Ward, turn it into an elemental, so you'll be taking less damage from all the aquatic damaging abilities. At number 7 we have the Leviathan Hatchling. This one has 3 different breeds. I like to use the health breed, but the power breed and the power health breed will also work just as well. To use this one effectively, you probably want to just use Toxic Skin, then Primal Cry, and then just Water Jet. At number 6 is the Gulperlet. This one has 3 possible breeds: balance, power and health, or health. I just have a health version of it. So if you can get more than one, I would probably recommend the balance breed above the power and health one. And usually all you would do with this one is do damage until you get low enough on health and then use Corpse Explosion. So depending on the situation, you might use Mudslide instead of Toxic Skin, or if you're going to take a lot of little hits, you probably want to use Toxic Skin instead, and then just whichever one you want to take out of these. Water Jet is usually the best. At number 5 we have the Mucho Krub. This one has 4 possible breeds. I like to use the power and speed version, because here we have Arcane Slash, so this one is probably going to be used against a flying pet, because there's other crabs that do much better against other families, but this one does really good against flying. I like to use the speed version because when you get a flying pet to below half health, it drops to its base speed, which is usually somewhere around here. So if you're taking the other breeds, they don't quite have the speed to go first. Usually if you're fighting against flying pets, they will have lots of little hits, so it might be worth using Shell Shield first and then Arcane Slashing. Or if the flying pet you're coming up against does big damage, you probably just want to use Arcane Slash. If you don't have a power speed version, or if it's not working on a particular strategy, a power version or a health version might be the way to go. But I usually just stick with this one. At number 4 we have the pets from the fishing in Shatrath City. There's 4 of these, so Muckbreath, Snarly, Toofy and Chuck. I still don't have Chuck. In the Family Battler achievement, I used these quite regular against the flying pets. So we would use Rip, Blood in the Water, and then Surge. I find that Snarly or Toofy work the best due to having more power, and Toofy has a bit of speed. Muckbreath will work just as well, so it doesn't really matter which one you take, just whichever one you've got. It should work pretty well, and you'll probably be slower than any flying pet anyway. If you can only get the one, I would recommend Snarly. I seem to use this one the most. At number 3 is Baneaxe. I love this little froggy. He's got a chunk of health and a chunk of power. He's only got 1 breed. Other frogs have similar abilities. So if you right click on him and go to find moveset, you'll also get the Mud Jumper. So if you need a bit of extra speed for something, you could just grab a Mud Jumper, balance breed. But usually Baneaxe will work fine in most situations. You probably want to use Bubble, swarm of flies or mudslide depending on the situation, and then just water jet or tongue lash, but Bane Axe works really well against elemental or undead pets. At number 2 we have the Spawner Gnathus. This little dude works really well. The only problem is he has really low health, so most of the fights he's used in can be quite RNG depending on if you can survive enough hits to do a chunk of damage, which is what he's used for. So we use Jolt, Paralysing Shock and Jolt. This does an insane amount of damage. Down about 406 from Jolt, then 487 from Paralysing Shock, and then another 406 from Jolt. That's nearly a pet dead. If said pet is doing a lot of little attacks, you can also use Lightning Shield, so whenever you're hit, the attacking pet takes damage. However, any kind of debuff, such as Swarm of Flies, will not do any damage back. They've actually got to hit you. So something such as Flurry, where they can hit you 3 times, if they hit you 3 times, they will take 3 times 243. So if you need a pet that needs to die really quickly, because it does some insane amount of damage over time and stuff like that, this would be the one I would go to try and get rid of that pet as soon as possible. And at number 1 is the Emperor Crab. You've got 2 breeds here. I would recommend getting both, so a health breed and a power breed. I still haven't upgraded my power breed yet, but it's in the pipeline. I've just been using a health breed. These work really well against anything that does lots of little damage. So you would use Shell Shield, Renewing Mists or Healing Wave, and then just spam Snap. Keep Shell Shield active, use your heal on cooldown, and away you go. Or if you need to, say if you're fighting against a flying pet, and you need to attack first because their abilities do multiple hits should they go first, then Surge works really well here. The Emperor Crab can be found in the Dread Wastes. I hope this video was helpful, and thanks for watching.